Oh my God, today we are talking about commandment number 9, business is business. And I got the businessman himself in the building. My guy, Eric Bellinger, the veteran. You know, Eric, you were signed before, but the veteran of being independent. You know what I mean? This man's run is impeccable. You talk about longevity in the business and longevity in the business as an independent. The Grammy nominated multi-platinum singer-songwriter Eric Bellinger is here to talk to us about 10 Artist Commandments. What's going on, E?
What's up, man? Happy to be here, man.
Man, I'm
Yo,
so lucky
yo,
to
yo,
have you,
yo.
man. Yeah.
Yo, big
So, okay,
vibes, big
so
vibes.
so so Eric, man, let's jump into it. First of all, you blessed us because you were able to talk to us and like give us your insight and your foresight into the business as we were writing the book, man. You were able to contribute so much to the book. So I want to thank you. All the readers, I'm sure they thank you because they read your quotes and they read what you had to say, and so I know it blessed them too. So hearing it from me, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you so much for that.
Ah, nah, man. This is what we do it for, to learn and then, hand that information over to the next person because there's no real toolkits out there.
Right, right. There isn't, man. So okay, so if you don't mind, do you have that quote in front of you? You want me to send it to your phone? Is a passage from you out of the book, out of the 10 Artist Commandments from commandment number 9, business is business. It's from a portion of the book called Entrepreneur. You know what I mean? You are the ultimate entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. The major mistake artists make is not being upfront about the uncomfortable truths about business. And because no one ever talks about it, the ugly truths perpetuate. There are millions of sayings and warnings about the harshness of business in general, but even more when it comes to the entertainment industry. One of these adages is that there are friends in life, but there are no friends in business. Someone once told me, business first and business second.
Eric Bellinger.
That's right. It's
Man,
true,
thank you
man.
so
It's
much.
true.
So
It's
tell
true,
me about
man.
that moment when they said that to you. Business first, business second.
Because I'm the guy that loves to make music. I'm the guy that if we go into the studio, that might be enough for me as far as my high. You know what I'm saying? Just as a creative. But I think once she explained that to me, and shout out to Miss Diddy, I gotta give it to her because she's the one that
Oh,
said it. And she was like, she said business first, business second. Like it's the music business. But in reality, if you're not handling business, the music is really pointless. Like you got to make
yeah.
sure that you're doing it the right way. You don't want to regret it later.
So at what point in that was that in your career?
So this was early on. This is like when I was first in singing groups. I used to do a lot of group activity just because I feel like I was used to that from football, from being on a team sport.
Yeah.
And I look at it like, you know, being in a singing group, it was the same vibe. So it was like when I was transitioning groups and trying to figure out which group I wanted to be a part of. But, at the end of the day, she's the one that kind of made me understand like, yo, you got to do what's right for you. A lot of times
Right.
in a group, it's really a struggle to get multiple people on the same mindset and be able to share the same vision. So with that, it kind of like centered me and allowed me to really focus on what was best for me.
Do you think that business was the downfall of groups because we don't really have groups in hip hop and R&B anymore? And when you hear old groups talk,
Yeah.
that's what they're always complaining about. That's what they're always upset about. Do you think that the lack of business knowledge was the
Yeah.
downfall of groups in hip hop?
Yeah, for sure, because you got more pie to split, but at the same time, say for example, one or two of those guys is a little bit more business savvy, then eventually that's gonna build, some animosity amongst the group, and it's inevitable that it's, headed towards a downfall.
So okay, so let me ask you about this. First of all, congratulations, because I saw your first piece of work came out in 2013. We are in
Yeah.
2023. 10 years you have been in this
Yes.
business,
Yeah.
successful in this business,
Yeah.
right? Congratulations on that. So let me ask you this: like when you left the label, because I think what year did you leave the what was it Sony Epic? What year did you leave Epic?
So that was 2005. 2005. That was it for Epic, and then I actually signed to Sony, but only on a publishing side in
Okay.
2010, and started operating as an independent artist using the publishing support from the building, because even if you're not signed to them as an artist, they still support you because it's still their publishing.
So what that means is 10 plus years of independence, but 10 plus years of successful independence. Like a lot of people say, hey, I'm an independent artist, but most people that say that are not
Yeah.
successful. You know what I mean? How have you managed to be successful as an
Yeah.
independent artist? Like, what would you say your takeaways are from your 10-year
Yeah.
run that's still going?
I say the biggest thing that separates me from 10-year veterans in the game is that I still operate like a new independent artist. Yeah, I'm an
Mm,
independent artist, and I operate as if I'm brand new though. Like, so
yeah.
whatever's the new trend, or I'm always looking for new knowledge or new information, and I always want to be the first one to try it out and experiment, because you never know. So, being, on the groundbreaking level of all cutting edge new ideas in social media, it turns me on. That's what I'm attracted to. Like, oh, what you can do
Wow.
now? We can do what now? Instagram? Oh, they let you delete slide number 5. Like, I get excited about those things.
So you love the innovation of the music business, right? Okay, but being that we're
Hmm.
talking about business number nine, the number nine commandment, what changes from the business side have you seen? Like 10 years ago, the business was run totally different. What's your changes you're seeing on the business side?
I think if you don't have any type of ownership in the music, or if you don't, care to be in the at the point of discovery still for a new fan each day, even after you found success, it's like, I feel like you're gonna lose it, because the times change so often that it's like, if you're not in tune with those things, like, okay, sound exchange and sound royalties, and knowing about even biz and knowing opportunities, it's like and having the audacity to give them a try. A lot of times we
Right.
see something like, I don't know, I'm gonna just stick with iTunes. It's like, why? Like,
You,
because you're not getting instant money anyway, so it's like you might as well try something new, because that's really what's breaking stuff, the newness, you know
man,
what I
you know
mean? And the
y-
innovators.
you you know what's crazy? E? You are been in the business long enough that you remember when we were only selling on iTunes and then it switched to streaming, and now we're pushing to go back towards selling because you
Yep.
mentioned even.biz, right? So how do you feel that people
Yes.
are willing to buy albums again? Like, does that excite you?
It does. It does. And I love listening to the different podcasts that you be doing, because one thing I really learned is how to play ping pong. Like,
Yeah,
everybody goes left, so I go right. Everybody goes right, so I go left. Everybody goes left, so I go right. And just to continue to do that over and over and over, I think is something that it takes not only execution but discipline. Like, to
yeah,
keep a routine, and to know, like, okay, this is what I got to do in order for me to be successful in the long run, because a lot of
right.
the plays that are the important plays are the long run plays, and most people are so desperate for money right now that they miss the long run, and they never actually get started.
One of the things that I feel like I missed when streaming started, I was so optimistic about it and saw so many pros that I missed the fact that we should never make this our main source of revenue. And so now here we are 5 years later, and I'm like, streaming should never be a main source of revenue. And I'm like, I wish I would have knew that from the jump. I wish I would have had that thought from the jump.
Yeah, because we were banking on it. Everything was like, oh, if you get the song, if you get the song. But now it's like, yo, but you could get the song, but you could also get that and that and that and that and
Right,
that. And, we just didn't know. It's trial and error. But I think even being cutting edge and trying those things gives us the advantage to now try new things, because people are
right.
still scared to jump on the boat of so many different opportunities.
Yeah, because now people are scared to sell their music, and it's like, bro, that's how the business started. We started by selling our music, and now artists today are like, oh, I don't know if I should tell my
Hmm.
fans to pay $10, and so how did you overcome that fear so fast?
Right. Oh man, because it's like, when I see something work one time, like I don't need to be convinced. Like, you know what I mean? I seen the Russell and I seen his interview and I was like, he just said it. Like, why wouldn't you try that? You know, and it's like
Right.
I know at times uh it's like you don't want to like, oh, I don't want to, that's his thing, but it's like no, he's welcoming the artist community to all do it, to join in. And I think as artists, especially creatives that own your music, it's like it's the best thing for you to do, to sell your music directly to consumer. Like why not
Yeah.
give that a try? Because even if only 10 people give you $1, it's $10 more than you had. It's like it'll
Exactly.
eventually go to DSPs anyway, so it's like you might as well give it a try.
They say it takes 10,000 hours to master a field. Well, what do you call spending 157,000 hours on one task? Breaking artists. Over my 18 years, I've witnessed the music business change abruptly from year to year. Yet I see artists rise to stardom throughout every era, no matter the landscape. Working directly with these success stories, I've noticed 10 principles that all these artists live by that have helped them conquer their eras. What are the characteristics? What are the traits? What are the practices of a successful artist? What does it take? 10 artist commandments. No matter the era, no matter the landscape, no matter the platform. If you want to have a successful career as an artist, read this book. Break down for the people who have never, and it's sound crazy to say, sold their music. What is that process like? Like you just did it. So
Yeah.
break down that process.
Okay. So I had a song that I wanted to put out in a special way because I felt like it was a special song. It was a song that was a freestyle on the radio, and I actually made it into a record. So the same way it was birthed, I wanted it to be presented the same way. And when I was introduced to Even, they was like, yo, you can give it to the people and they could pay what they feel is worth. So in my mind, I was like, that's much better than the standard, because I feel like this
Yeah.
is worth much more than $1. You know what I mean? So
Right.
once they were like, yo, we can market at whatever you want to do it. And I was like, wow, how about we just leave it up to the people, and see what they do. And, once the first like week had passed by, they was like, okay, cool, here, we about to deposit this money in your account. And I was like, right now?
Like what?
It was like, yeah, check, it's already there. And I was just like, wow, this is instant. Like I've been doing music for, over 10,000 hours, and that's never
Yeah.
happened. That's the fastest, that I've ever
You
been able
ever
to
got
receive a
paid?
royalty from music. And it felt great. Yeah. To fit like, okay, I was like, oh, it's not a royalty. It's a donation. It's your fans supporting you. It's like, man, it's like, you never know how much you do for a fan, and that's their moment to pour
Right.
back into you.
Man, that's amazing that you say that because I see like LaRussell posting these fan testimonials. But even talking to just some people, more people like me who put out great content and teach people and educate people. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
never know what that education can amount to in their life. And so if you've changed their life in a dramatic way, and you put something out and you say, "Hey, pay what you want," they're not gonna give you the value of that
Yeah.
product. They're gonna give you the value that you've instilled in their life. And that's what's
Right.
amazing about it.
The value of that emotion. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. So being independent so long, I don't know if you had the same team the whole time or if you
Hmm.
changed teams, but what are some of the lessons that you've learned
Yeah.
when it comes to surrounding yourself with a team? Like speak on that for us.
I think it's easy to find people that want to do music. You know what I mean? Like, and when you link with people and y'all connected and you make music, it's a common denominator, music. But once you start getting particular and intentional, now it has to be shared interest in branding. It has to be shared interest in marketing. It has to be shared interest in the same vision so that you can, have a target audience, so that you can have the proper stylist. So I think all of these things now, once you really, really start trying to comb through it with a finer tooth, it's harder because you have to have more minds with, say for example, you on Zillow and you're looking for a house and you click on these filters. And once you start, everything start getting smaller when you start getting more intentional. Like, I want a pool, like I want a fence, or, once you get that intentional, it's a lot harder to find people with similar interests. But once you find those people that they also want a pool, they also want a fence, and these are just metaphors for that in artistry and in greatness and success. man, that's when it's really unstoppable.
So it's really finding those like-minded people that you guys align. You have the same mission. Like you said, we both want the pool, we both want the fence. We don't just want a
Yeah.
house. Millions of people want a house, but what do we want our house to look like?
Yeah,
I got
and
you.
I had to learn that, because I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be on stages, but now I know what I want my stage to look like. I know how many dancers
Mm.
I want because it'll compliment me but not take away from me. Like all of these things, it was like I was doing trial and error, but I wasn't afraid to fail because now I know like the proper thing that works for me, the thing that I love, and I don't feel like I'm gambling. When you see me on stage, you don't look like I'm unsure. You look like, oh yeah, he knows he wants to do that, but I also know I want to do it because I know the ways that I don't want to do it.
Eric, you're in very rare air. You're a successful independent artist and you're staying independent, which means you have to reinvest in yourself. Like if you can give us a breakdown of
Hmm.
what it looks like. Like, hey man, I take 50% of the money I make and reinvest and I
Yeah.
live off 50. Like, how do you break that down?
So that I'm still learning how to do that because I'm my own investor. And a lot of times I try to separate the family expenses from All Wins Entertainment, my label expenses. But say for example I really have to shoot that video and I really need to shoot it, you don't think I'm gonna dig in that bank over there, like, because I know that this music is what's got me here and it's what's gonna keep me here. So it's like it's been a fine line, and I think that is the struggle, probably the biggest struggle, because I have this big dream, but at the same time, it's like, yo, I got a family, I got to make sure they good. So I think it's about just channeling the priorities and making sure, because now it's like, okay, on one hand I got to take care of that. Okay, you got the fam, you got the bills, you got the food, you got the whips, you got the cribs, you got the Netflix, you got the school, you got the clothes, and then on the other side you got the video, you got the single artwork, you got the styling for the video, you got to pay the director, you got to pay the producer, you got to, so either way it's such a spectrum that most people wouldn't really understand until they do it, and then once they do they
Yeah.
don't want to do it no more.
And, but
It's a
but
lot, you know what I
what
mean?
make yeah, like what make people like you and myself and all successful people rare is we do the things that people don't want to do. People they want our end result, but they don't want to do the things that they need to do to get to that end result. And that's why we become successful because we'll
Yep.
do them.
Do
So,
it.
oh,
I don't,
okay,
because either
so
way, what you
let
gonna do? Like, you gonna sit down?
so give me some of your lessons that you've taken from these last 10 years. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say are a couple of
Yeah.
Eric Bellinger's biggest mistakes that you had to learn from?
Mm-hmm. Maybe one of the biggest mistakes is thinking that I could just do it on my own. Like, yo, I got it. I could do
Mhm.
that, or I could do that. But I think the more that I try to do, the more it takes away from what is necessary of me. Like, okay, if I
Yeah.
try to handle that, and that, now I'm gonna be late. Now I'm not on time, or now I didn't even get that because I forgot because I was doing this. And I think learning to delegate and learning to, you know, put the right people in trust, the right people, and know that the right people can handle the task too. Because it's like, on one hand you like, we all have that mentality sometimes. If I want it to be done right, I got to do it myself, but that's
Yeah.
gonna hurt you in the end. So it's really about just taking your time and not even pressing go until you got all your team members in place.
So with us talking about business is business, how do you go about handling the business with those team members? Like, how do you decide what they're going to get paid or if they're going to get shares? Like, how do you go about handling that business with them? And do you
Hmm.
do it up front or do you
Yeah.
give them trial
Yeah.
runs?
Yeah. No, everybody is like all up front, what I mean? Like, especially when it comes to like a tour. Like a tour, we talking, I know what people are gonna get when they go. They know like the day rate, the per diem, everything. If somebody's just coming around and they're just, wanting to be a part of the team, it's like, yeah, we definitely start at the intern level, and if people progress and work their way, it's like, okay, cool, we need you to be on salary, or we need you to be here's your day rate when you come around, or whatever works for each person. But I feel like if that business is right, that's the only way people are gonna keep coming back. You know what I mean? Because
Mm,
we meet a lot of different encounters in our career, and the ones that we gravitate back to are the ones that are the most pleasant. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah, that's what people don't realize. You said something so special there. If you have a long career, you're gonna come across these people over and over again. So your interaction and your business dealings with them are extremely important. If you ever want their help again, you better make sure you're treating them right, and you better make sure the business is right. And what's more important about that is people don't realize how hard good help is to find. So when they screw over people and they can't find the right
Yeah.
person again, they regret it.
100%, man. I take care of everybody that's like, it's like I want you to feel that love. I want you to feel that reciprocation. You know what I mean? Like that's how we gonna keep this business going. I'm not in it for one drop. You know what I mean? I'm here
Right.
every year.
So I heard you say something earlier. You said, you have this big dream. And obviously, my brother, I know you already know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. You're already living your dream. Your life in this moment is a dream. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You're living your dream. But
Yeah, 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 yeah.
what business moves do you need to make to get to that larger dream?
I would say support. Because for me, it's like anything that I'm doing is it's off the love. You know what I mean? But I want to
Mhm.
have artists that I'm able to support them and give them everything that they need to succeed. I think if I
Mm,
can do that, that's going to take things to the next level because, it's not about what you can do for yourself. It's about what you could do for other people. You know what I mean? That's
right.
how you can sustain and that's how you become legendary. It's not about you.
Right, exactly. So if the more people you can help and the more people you can pull up, the higher you go. It's like the saying, a high
Yeah.
tide raises all boats.
Exactly. And those people that you help, they remember. And they'll be
Right.
thankful the same way that, you know what I mean? Like what you do for them, it's like they not gonna forget, because like I said, we remember encounters. You know what I mean? I try
Right.
to make sure anytime somebody link with me or talk to me, it's the greatest experience every time.
You've kind of alluded throughout this thing, and I have too. It's just about how you treat people. You know what I mean? Like to last 10 years in this
Yeah,
business,
yeah.
you have to treat people very well. So how important has that been in your business dealings?
Yes. It's been super important because no matter what, you hear the saying about treat the janitor like the president all the time because you never know the roles could be reversed. And I think I kept that with me even whether people supported me or if they didn't support me. So like I
Yeah.
would go and take the meeting and they didn't support. I would take the meeting, they didn't support, but I still take the meeting because sooner or later, guess what? You're gonna be nominated for a Soul Train Award. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you just gotta stay in the game. And a lot of people take those no's offensive. And I just take those no's as, oh, it's not time yet. So
Right.
either the
Not
glass
yet.
is half full or half empty. It's up to you.
Right, not yet. I always tell people no, it's not yet. I mean, we talk about that a lot in the book. So let me ask you one more business question. Um, I got your
Okay.
first biggest mistake. I don't think I got your second one. What would you say? Give us one more.
The second one. I think there was a moment when I could have sold some of my catalog. Like when I heard about it early, I heard about it like long, 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 long time ago. And they was offering
Yeah.
way, way more than they offering now. So it was like a moment where it was
Wow.
like, ooh, it was so new though. I was like, sell the catalog? You heard about that. And it's like, you don't do that, like that's the old school training, but
Yeah.
I think nowadays in the music business, when you can make money, you should take the money, so it
Yeah.
was like a thing where I was like, oh, that probably would have been, you know what I mean? It was like it
It would have
was like
changed
way
things.
more because it was so early. But I think it would have changed things. But I do feel like now that I know it's like, okay, cool. So it that also, it preps me to be willing to take a risk. No risk, no reward.
Right. Right. And you said that many times in this interview. It's just like you're willing to jump on board when something is new. But I know when you start talking about your livelihood, it gets a little different because basically if you would have sold, that would have ended your cash flow. You know what I mean? And cash flow is king. And so
Yes.
either way, you win, but
Yes.
I understand the struggle because you like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have this money, but then if no cash is coming in, how fast am I gonna run through that money? You know what I mean? So I get it. I
Exactly.
understand that.
And
That was
how
a
good
tough
am I
decision.
to flip that in another area? Yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
Because I got offered to sell my catalog. And my struggle was like, man, what am I gonna come up with that's gonna make the same amount of money every month? And I was like, there aren't many things that can make the
Yeah.
same amount. Like there aren't many things that are gonna give me the same amount of money every month
Off
without me
passive
doing anything.
income. At passive
Yeah,
income,
like,
yeah.
and that's the key.
Exactly.
Like the money's coming in. I don't do anything.
But
I
a
could be
lot of people
asleep for the
don't know
month
that.
and the money's coming. And so I'm like, man, if I get
It's
these
coming.
millions, that's
Exactly.
cool. But you know how fast you can run through that. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, I said no too. By the way,
Oh, I
I was
know.
like, yeah, I'm like, man,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I was like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea. So I'm with you there. I'm with
Yeah,
you. Okay, so
exactly.
a lot of people know Eric Bellinger, the singer songwriter. If you could take a second and tell us about Eric Bellinger, the businessman,
Mm-hmm.
the entrepreneur.
Man, that guy is, super particular, super intentional, super patient. No, that's another
Yeah,
thing. I'm patient. Like I won't strike until I know like I'm gonna hit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
yeah,
gonna go to my sweet spot on the court. I'm a pump fake. I'm a plant my feet. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to take the shot off the balance. You know what I mean? Like I
right.
just I'm that calculated when it comes to once I drop, I'm not just dropping because I got a dope song. I'm dropping because I
Mm,
got a dope song. I got the next 5 singles artwork done, videos to at least 2 in the can, because once I start, I don't want to have to stop because of some unfortunate event. So when I come, that mean I already been prepping for a year. You're not just
yeah.
seeing a song I did in the studio last night and got excited and put it on SoundCloud. You know what I'm saying? So
Whoo,
I think it's that
talk to
preparation that
him.
people, people gotta know, like, man, I'm prepped. Like, it's no accident. It's no accident why
Yeah.
things is falling. Like people be like, yeah, the stars got to align. Nah, I'm gonna align the stars.
Cash money talk right there. I appreciate that. And then, okay, my last question that I really want to be able to get from you, and because I feel like artists need to know this,
Yep.
outside of just financially investing in yourself, how do you stay self-educated? Like, how do you educate yourself?
Oh man, podcast, books. You got to do it. You got to do both. You got to read it. You got to make sure that because that's how you learn. That's really the best place to learn. Like trial and error is cool, but learning from other people's mistakes is even better.
Is even better. Yeah, they say a fool learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from other people's mistakes. You know what I mean? That's what they say. So that's what
That's
reading
my new
is.
favorite
Reading,
quote.
yeah, reading is learning from other people's mistakes, so you don't have to make that mistake.
That's it. And that's what people need to understand too. It's not just like, oh, I'm just like, no, I'm trying to get advanced. I'm trying
Right.
to advance. This is for the people that, for sure is trying to like just get to that next level, and elevate expeditiously.
Yeah, expeditiously. That's a word that only a reader would know. Yo,
Exactly.
E man, thank you so
Exactly.
much for joining us. Thank you for being a part of the 10 Artist Commandments, man. You are a big contributor to the book. And so everybody that's watching this, I hope you learned a lot from Eric. You should have. This is a 10-year successful independent artist,
Yes,
Grammy
sir.
nominated,
Come on. I
multi-platinum,
love
not
that.
not multi-platinum songwriter, which he is. I'm talking about multi-platinum artist. Okay, you understand? He's both. You feel
Let's
me?
go. Let's
Yeah,
go.
so
Put
thank
both
you, E
on.
man. Thank you, Eric
Boop.
Bellinger.
Switch
Thank
the
y'all
hat
for
up. Switch the
tuning
hat
in
up.
with us, man.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you guys on the next episode of this 10 Artist Commandments podcast. Go get that book, 10 Artists,
That's right.
10artistcommandments.com.